Hello, and welcome to another MCO market update on Bitcoin. And yeah, today we'll take another look at in this video, we'll take another look at the shorter time frame. And yeah, I mean, what can we see? We can see that the market has corrected quite strongly. There is no decisive break below micro support, but as I explained in the last video, if we see a break below the 61.8 retracement, well, it already becomes more probable that we're dealing here with let's say, the more bearish scenario. And I've added a microstructure for that so that we have something to watch in terms of, more detailed microstructure to the downside, because so far, while the price has not formed a decisive break below support, we also don't have any break above resistance. And without a break above resistance, that would be a break above 85,639, there is absolutely no confirmed low in place. And therefore, yeah, we have to remain focused on the trend. The local trend is down, and I'm going to watch, however, if the market can form an upside reversal, maybe over the weekend, which I'm skeptical about, I can tell you that, extremely skeptical. So I think what we might see over the weekend is probably no real, so I don't think a decision will be made over the weekend. I think we'll probably see price action below resistance and probably above the red line, which is the next structural support level, around $83,213. So let me explain. If you are new here on the channel, I recommend that you also check out our video about the daily chart from earlier today, or you just hang around. Tomorrow we'll take a look at the daily chart again for overall context. At the moment, this move to the upside is seen as a three-wave move, and three-wave movements are characterized usually by a lot of transformations of the microcounts, overlapping price action. I can understand if that's frustrating for people. It's typically when people say, oh, these are the region, or let's say these are the price structures, where people say that analysis doesn't make any sense. Well, you could see it that way, but that's actually not correct, because the analysis warns us that we have to be cautious. We cannot trust this structure, and that is a great finding. That is pure gold, okay? Because it allows you to keep your capital if you understand that warning, right? I mean, it's not about being bearish. It's about understanding that we cannot trust this structure. We have to be careful. It's not a stable uptrend. It's not an aggressive uptrend. The bulls are not clearly winning because we have these overlapping price structures. So we're dealing with corrective structures. And as I always say, there are more than 10 different ways how you can label a correction. There are different forms of corrective structures, ABC structures, WXY patterns, could even morph into triangles. And then, even corrections in corrections. So, for example, here, I could label that as, an ABC in wave A. And then the C wave should be a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? All right, but what about a WXY structure? The A wave could technically also be a WXY. Then the top could already be in WXY, okay? And this is like maybe another WXY in here. So you see lots of various crazy combinations. This is just this is just possible. The market can do this stuff. And when we understand, and the analysis tells us that we are dealing with corrective structures, then we just need to be careful, all right? And it's best in these situations to remain focused on levels and wait for clear signals, like, for example, a 5-wave move. For example, if we now see a small 5-wave pattern or an aggressive move above resistance, which, as I said, is between 85,150 and 85,639, well, that would be our first indication that a low has actually formed, probably down here in this 4th wave correction. Yeah, this is what we're tracking in these cases. Then it's also important to understand that at the moment the move down can be called, we can label it as complete, so it can easily be a WXY structure. But if the wave 4, this correction, is a WXY structure, these are not very common forms of a correction. So it would be, 1 second, what was it? Yeah, it would be 1 second. So ABC in wave W, X, and then Y. And then the low could be in, but a WXY structure is not normally a complete looking or ideal correction. That would be an ABC structure. And if it's a WXY, I mean, surely the low might be in, but we have to wait for more evidence because these are not corrections that we can trust. So it is a pretty lousy structure, pretty messy price action. So from a bullish point of view, we want to see a break above resistance. It can take us to 90, 91K. I don't trust. I don't see that as a highly likely scenario because there is just no impulse here. Okay, nothing. So, but as I said, if we get a break above resistance, then you have your signal. The other scenario is the orange one, where we could already be in a B wave pullback. I've just shown the direct pathway down to that B wave instead of taking the route via a higher A wave, then B. Okay, no, in this case, we could go down more directly. And it might be that over the weekend, we just see an internal wave 4 bounce. So often what we see on weekends, and a lot of you guys know that, we often see wave 4 corrections. So in the orange count, this is an A wave down, the B wave up. This is basically the roadmap to the downside. And then the C wave would be wave 1, wave 2 already done. Third wave maybe done. Fourth wave bounce and another low. That's also roughly the count I'm tracking for MicroStrategy, for those of you who have seen my analysis on MSTR, rather strategy they are called now. And it could be that we get this wave 4 bounce over the weekend, and and again the wave 4 could take different forms again as well, like a triangle or just an A, B, C, and then we go down. So, but more important than which actually form or pattern this wave 4 takes is to understand that it's a correction and that we have resistance around here, 85,639. The pressure remains down against that level, and we have some additional support here around 83,200. So that's the update at the moment about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.